Hey y'all, it's Brooke, and today I'm taking you along with me to do my bird surveys. Why am I doing bird surveys? That's a great question. I am currently a graduate student studying birds of prey, specifically these feisty falcons called American Kestrels. In the summertime, I have to go around and see what kestrels are in my county. So that's what we're gonna go do today, is go try to find some kestrels. I've got my very expensive spotting scope. When we find a kestrel, I can look really closely at it. It has a fancy schmancy car mount that I'll show you how to use. I keep that prepared and ready to go in my passenger seat. I also, of course, have my binoculars, the Nikon ProStaff 7S binoculars, and I just keep them on my dash. Lastly, I have my phone that has my map. All of those blue points are kestrels that we're gonna go to. We're not going to all the blue points today. That would be crazy. And then I also record my data on my phone. So I'm gonna get started here. We are en route to our first couple birds. I just wanted to explain why these surveys are important and what we use them for. The kestrels are migratory, meaning that they usually migrate north in spring to breed, have babies in the summer, and then come back down south in Texas, where I am, for the winter season. We actually have a pretty large wintering population of American kestrels, but for some reason, about 10% of our county's population of kestrels stays all year round as residents, and they don't ever migrate. I have no idea why, so don't ask me because I don't know the answer. But these surveys during the summer allow us to figure out how many kestrels are actually staying, and maybe will help us answer that question as to why they're staying. Once a month I go and I basically do a census on how many kestrels are in the county. No kestrels yet. How I'm looking for them is as I'm driving, I multitask and I am looking for them mostly along the power lines. That's where we find them about 90% of the time. And I've gotten really good at identifying kestrels from pretty far on those power lines. They also like the tops of trees. They like fences. They like the power poles themselves. They like to be up high most of the time because they like to be able to have a vantage point for hunting. I have seen lots and lots of scissortail flycatchers, kingbirds, some meadowlarks, some doves. Next scissortail I'll stop and show you because they're really beautiful. Last month I found 21 kestrels in the county. Ooh, this is a Mississippi kite flying. Hi! We have a good summer population of those. They breed here. We drove to 2 territories, no birds. Now I've gotta route myself and see where I'm going next. I always pull off on the side of the road, and luckily there's a little rock road here. But this is what happens. Is I check my birds and then I have to pull over to see where I'm going next. Okay, we'll go to this one next, and then we'll have to pull over again. I literally got an all-wheel drive car for this position. I pull the weirdest maneuvers when I'm doing these surveys, and especially when we're trapping. I enjoy doing these surveys because it's like a little trip down memory lane, or I have to go check all the territories where I caught birds. And I remember this bird specifically, okay? It was sitting on these power lines. We threw the trap like right here, right in front of me in this road. And literally within 20 seconds, the bird was caught. We were backing up. Like the car was moving backwards. We hadn't even like made it out of the way before the bird was caught. So that was a pretty insane one, but sadly he is not here. So we're gonna keep moving. As promised, here is your scissortail flycatcher. Really beautiful bird. Definitely one of my favorite birds I've seen since moving to Texas. And I get to see them like every day, and I don't take that for granted. We are kind of like in the middle of nowhere right now, little rinky-dink part of the county, yet we are still stuck in traffic. And that is one of the things I don't like about Texas very much. And we've literally been sitting here for 10 minutes, have not moved. I found one, finally. This is one of my old reliable territories. There's always kestrels here. It's a female kestrel. She actually has a transmitter on her, so I know her territory very well because I tracked her around in the winter. And her name is Karen. I can see her antenna on her back, so I definitely know that it's her. And she has a mate here. His name is Kevin, so this is Kevin and Karen's territory that we're at right now. And I don't see him. Oh, she just went hunting for something. Where is she going? Into the trees? Let's see if she caught something. She did! It's a little grasshopper or some type of insect, but it looks like a grasshopper. Good job, girl! Are you gonna eat it? I think she already ate it. They ripped through those things. Yeah, she did. Where is your man, Kevin? exciting. So while we're waiting for Kevin to make an appearance, I'm going to record her location on an app in my phone. It's called Survey 123, and it uses GIS to enter a survey, and you can like customize your questions. I just enter the date and time that I saw the bird, and then I basically just enter who it is. So this is a recite of Karen, and her band code is K/N. It has a little map on it, so then I just try to estimate the best I can where she is on this satellite map, and then I submit it and go online and extract all that data into an Excel sheet, which is pretty cool. I still don't see Kevin, which isn't a big deal because I'm sure he's around here somewhere, but I'm just gonna do a quick scan of these power lines. I have one more spot I can look for him. Okay. Something really interesting and confusing is going on right now. I found a male and female sitting literally right next to each other, almost on top of each other. They look like one bird on the line, and I cannot get any closer to them than I am right now. I really hope that's not Kevin, because he's sitting next to another female, and I can still see Karen up on the power line over here. So whoever he is sitting with is not Karen, if that's Kevin. See, I'm gonna see if I can get any closer at all to see who this is, because I'm really confused right now. Someone had babies. There are 3 kestrels perched together. There's 1 at the top and 2 on that line that I showed you earlier. 2 are boys for sure, and I think the 3rd one is a girl. And kestrels do not share territories like that unless they are related. So pairs will share and children will share. And there's never ever 3. There's only 3 if there's babies. Ah, that's so exciting. That means Kevin and Karen had a baby. So I think I'm just gonna wait here and see if they will come any closer to me. But that's really exciting, y'all. Okay, this is Karen that's flying right now. She's flying towards the other birds, which is good. And I'm pretty sure that I saw Kevin's antenna. I think that Kevin was hanging down there with the kiddos, and it looked like there were 2 babies, a boy and a girl perhaps. Okay, yeah, that's for sure, Mom. That's Karen, for sure, and no one is reacting to her flying down there, like territorial-wise, which makes me think, I'm like 90% sure that I'm looking at Kevin next to another male. I'm gonna keep looking though. This is Kevin, the dad, on the left, next to what I can only assume is his son, to the right. If I move the scope just a little bit this way, this is Karen, who is the mom. That's so exciting. They had a little baby. I think Kevin and Karen fledged 2 chicks. I'm so happy for them. I love finding surprise babies. That's so exciting, especially because it's Kevin and Karen. I actually want to tell you Kevin and Karen's story because I feel like it's important now. Kevin and Karen both have transmitters, which are these special types of trackers that I put on certain birds that allow me to track them to their locations. So I take out this big antenna, transmitters that are on the bird emit a signal that I can pick up. When I get closer to the bird, my antenna beeps louder, essentially is how it works. And so during the winter, that's what I was doing, is I was going around to my territories that had transmitter birds, and I was trying to find them so I could map out their home ranges. They weren't both supposed to have transmitters, and the reason for that is because pairs use really similar territories. So Kevin and Karen were paired in the winter as well, but I didn't know this at this time, okay, because I wasn't out here watching them. I don't really want to put transmitters on pairs because if I do that, then I'm just going to be tracking them to the same location, where if I put them on different kestrels, I can get, you know, 2 completely separate home ranges mapped out. And I can show you what Kevin and Karen's home ranges look like. They are literally like right on top of each other. Like this is basically the same data for 2 birds now. So not ideal, but not the worst thing in the world. There's not really any evidence that I know out there right now where we have really detailed home ranges for a pair that shows, you know, they're using the exact same territory. But for me, that's not what I really wanted. So this was not on purpose. But essentially, I caught Karen first, and I thought that the area was a really good place to do some tracking. There wasn't a lot of traffic. There were places for me to pull off and watch them. So I put a transmitter on her. This was a really, really cold series of days in a row when I caught her. Like we were having a cold spell down here in Texas. I went to go find her the next day, and I wasn't getting any signal from my antenna. Like I wasn't getting any beeps. And I was like, that's really weird. I can't find this bird. So then a few days later, I went out again and I didn't get signal for her again. And I was like, man, I wonder, you know, if she didn't survive the cold, or I wonder if maybe, you know, this isn't usually her territory, but since it was really cold, she was desperate, you know, to go find food. So she ventured out of her regular territory, and that's why she was here. But I still really, really wanted to track in this area. The next time we went out trapping, morning, I saw Kevin here in this area. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I catch him and put a transmitter on him, I can still track in this area that I really want to track in. So that's exactly what I did. We went out and trapped Kevin and put a transmitter on him. And then I was able to find him, you know, a couple days later, and I was like, yay. And I'm sitting there doing my little survey. 10 minutes into my survey, who pops up? No one other than Karen. And I was like, uh-oh. My hope at first was that they were just in adjacent territories, like they just lived next to each other, but that is not the case. They are absolutely paired. As you can see, they had babies. That's the story of Kevin and Karen. I've been watching them for a really long time. I've watched them for multiple hours. They're really special birds to me, so that's why it's so cool that I can see that they successfully fledged some chicks. I am back home. We're done for the day. I know that this video is probably pretty short, but we were out there for like 2 hours. Today we saw a total of 4 birds. 2 were Kevin and Karen, and 2 were Kevin and Karen's babies. This is most of the field work that I do in the summer, just these types of surveys. Thanks for coming along with me. Bye!